I think Bruce has touched on it. The first thing we can confirm this morning is that last week Matt Tubbs joined Crawley Town Football Club as a player, and that's that was a sign of intent that I needed from Bruce. Got a call 2 weeks ago to say that he wanted to look at putting a squad together that was capable of competing at the top end. I wrote a list of players and values down for him after doing some research with Paul. And I've never had Bruce Winfield come back to me in 2 minutes in his life, but he come back and said bid for Tubbs. And the fantastic news that I received is, wasn't he, last week in building the squad and the players we've added, was coming into the office on Monday, and Susan Carter telling me that we'd paid in one hit for Tubbs, and it was all done and dusted, and there was no debt involved and no payment stages and everything, because that tells you then that Bruce and the people behind him and Susan are pretty serious. So from our point of view, we've made some fantastic signings. We've made 2 six-figure offers in the last 4 days that have been rejected from clubs in the Blue Square Premier. We know what we need to add to the squad now. They've been hand-picked. There's not been a interesting thing is there's been no names leaked that we've actually signed, apart from the best kept secret in the world. Best kept secret of Tubbs. But apart from Tubbsy, then no one else has been speaking about the plans that I've shared with Bruce and Susan and the chairman on a daily basis. And we'll continue to work diligently over the next couple of weeks to finalise the squad. And you know, we have to reserve the right of other clubs to ask us to keep things in confidence when the bids are rejected. Rushden Diamonds didn't ask us to keep Lee Tomlin quiet. I suppose I can say Lee Tomlin was one of the players we bid for. You know, the other one has asked it to be remaining confidential. We have to respect that. We've lost Charlie Adamino, as people know, to Grimsby, and the best thing I can say is I don't really want to talk about players at other clubs, so we're not going to talk about him. He's not part of our future.
And we do hold his registration then?
We do hold his registration. Bruce will be involved in some dialogue, I assume, with the Grimsby Town chairman, with John Fenty, at some stage today. And I can confirm that we did reject an offer from Grimsby Town yesterday morning. Well, Bruce and Susan rejected that offer, so they'll get in some dialogue. And if the club don't agree, then that'll go to a tribunal. What I do know is he's a gifted young man. He's a you know, he had a fantastic relationship with Charlie. He thinks he's made progress and joined the Mitch Booker club. I think Bruce would confirm I got the most humble and nicest text you could get from a kid last night. So, you know, we wish him well. I think he's made the wrong choice. I think we'll be above them. So, that's where we are. And I'll take.
Steve, if you just ask you sort of about Matt Tubbs, you should be delighted to have brought him in and just briefly sort of what you think he offers, apart from sort of 25 goals a year.
Oh, 25 goals.
Well, do you see him as being integral? Without someone like that, you wouldn't be able to compete with the top end.
No, I think you need somebody who can put the ball in it. And like everyone, if you've got one, you don't want to sell them. And if you've got one, if you're going to sell them, you have to ensure you got the maximum value. I think Salisbury have had the maximum value. We don't hide our words. We had to bid more than Luton, Wrexham, Stevenage, Burton Albion, all clubs at the table. I sat with Tubbsy, which was meant to be for 20 minutes. 4.5 hours later, he couldn't wait to sign. I think he must have felt that I just kidnapped him and locked him in the room. But he was so enthusiastic. He trained with us yesterday, and you need to look at the goals that he scored yesterday to see that he's going to be an asset to the team. But he's going to have some competition with McAllister, with Marum, and Jamie Cook coming back, who I think is a fantastic signing for us. You know, it didn't work out for him at Oxford, and he had a real desire to come here. And listen, if you're sitting in the Stevenage Borough car park waiting to sign, and someone pulls you back to Crawley Town, which is no money, then maybe you've got a point to prove, and Cookie comes back to that like he came the first time. We have an objective to be in the top 5, but we also understand that there's some big clubs in this league, and it's going to be difficult. And we often discuss behind the scenes with the 3 of us, the 4 of us with the chairman, is that it's a marathon. You know, we get beat on the opening day. Boston got beat on the opening day when Boston won at Hoppy Margate, travesty. We won the championship because it's a marathon. Stevenage Borough, we were there in October last year. Certainly on the top 3 if you do your stats. So
you've got the finance in place now. Is it still going to be difficult to attract top players?
It's getting easier. It's getting easier if you've got the money. You know, I could have talked to Tommy Witherington at Salisbury for 6 weeks, but unless Bruce Winfield and Susan Carter have sanctioned that we pay that fee, we wouldn't have got permission to talk to him. And John, as we found out in the last 4 days, we've been quite surprised at offers that we've made have been turned down, haven't we, Bruce?
Yeah, very surprised.
You know, we're making offers to clubs with no instalment plans and to pay them in 7 days and stuff like that, and it don't always get the green light because there is some big clubs with ambition in this league that we've got. So it doesn't mean because we don't get those players on that bid, we don't go back to a further bid, and it also don't mean that there's not other targets. We don't just pick a player and say he's the only player for that position. You know, it's fair to say we're in dialogue with some clubs with the players now. Yeah, and I think one of our director of operations said me and Paul Ray would be like kids in a sweet shop. Well, our look has been in a sweet shop for 2 years. But in all seriousness, I think it's great. We have an opportunity now to build the site that we thought we might have the opportunity to build way and what we before, but Bruce and Susan have given us that opportunity, so we'll give it every go. And we all know that management teams live or fall by results, and we know that players live or fall by performances. And the nice thing is, we have opportunities with good players in the squad that if people's not performing, they won't play. You know, everybody's assuming Matt Tubbs will play. I'm sure the other 3 players and possibly one other striker coming in might have a different view to that. We don't hide our ambitions, and Bruce don't hide them, the board don't hide them, and we as a management team would be rather false for me to sit here and say we have a bottom 3 budget. A bit silly, wouldn't it? But you know, so from that point of view, there is, in Bruce Winfield words, I'm not allowed to mention the word last time, Bruce, budget.
Is Susan going to come back as a director? You
Yes.
did stand down.
Because part of the deal is that I have to come on the board with some. It's on the website. We've announced it on the website. We haven't. We're about to. That's mandatory. Yeah.
Susan, can I just ask you, obviously, that you're still sitting there, your interest is obviously as strong as ever, and you're obviously very committed towards
Yeah, I think it's just very frustrating where, you know, Bruce says, you know, these things don't happen overnight, they have to take a long time to put together. It's very disheartening when you get fans who say they're loyal fans who, you know, unfortunately we live in a world of modern media and internet, and people can post blatant lies and untrue facts on there, and unfortunately everybody else runs away with it. And so it is frustrating, it is hard work, and you know, it's difficult, but I guess behind the scenes we've still always been very supportive of one another, and had to go back to the drawing board, and the strategy's still there, and I just think now we've gone to the point, and we've pulled it all together and worked extremely hard. And while he's thanked everybody else, I think we need to thank Bruce actually. A big round of applause.
Yeah.